We've been exploring some of the different mechs in Battletech, and we're up to C. So let's look at the Chameleon. Now, this is a training mech. It's a medium mech. It behaves like a light mech. Sometimes it wants to be a heavy mech. It has a lot of vulnerabilities. It has some serious design flaws. But in the inner sphere, a mech is a mech. And sometimes you've got to press those Chameleon trainer mechs into service. Or if we're looking for an advantage or something a little bit different to bring on a Thursday night, perhaps this is a mech that you can consider. Now, in the narrative, I just want to kind of sidebar for a moment here. In the narrative, the Chameleon is a trainer mech. You're training as a mech warrior, and supposedly the flaws in it are built to teach you a lesson, and we're going to explore that. My first question is, I understand the tech level of Battletech. Why wouldn't I have a simulation as a trainer mech? I would imagine I'd do a simulation, and then I might have a two-seater for the actual mech that I'm going to pilot, meaning for whatever reason, whether I inherited the mech or I'm assigned the mech, if I'm going to be piloting a Shadowhawk, as soon as I learn the basic in-pod controls, and I'm sure they have that, wouldn't you have me piloting a Shadowhawk, just learning on that right away? Might you have a trainer two-seater that takes out some of the weapons or strips away some of the armor, and my instructor is guiding me on that? To jump into the Chameleon and familiarize myself with that, but then go on to my real mech, I don't quite know how that would work. But that aside, let's break it down, crunch the numbers, and see what we're looking at. So we've got a medium mech with a large laser. My first thought, of course, if you've been following my Battletech vlogs, I want autocannon 10, I want PPC, I want maximum damage for my primary single weapon. I've only got one shot, so if I connect, I want to make sure I'm doing the maximum punch. But that said, a large laser's still got some bite, and it's a great way to kind of cut down on heat a little bit and cut down on the battle value and cut down on the tonnage without sacrificing too much for damage. So large laser is solid. I mean, look, we see it on the Phoenix Hawk. We see it as a primary on some other heavy type mechs. I can't complain. So we start with that primary kind of reach out, trying to blast things with the large laser. Then we move to an interesting combination. 2 medium lasers, 3 small lasers, and 2 machine guns. So we just go for the Berserker Blitz once we get to close range. I've got essentially 3 band ranges, but the aggressive level goes up. At long range, I'm blasting away with the large laser. Now, heat, this is the problem. I've only got 10 heat sinks. That's it. And the armor is not that great on this mech. It's closer to like a heavy light mech. So at long range, I've got that large laser, which if I'm just running and gunning, I can maintain that pace. That's fine. I can maintain that pace. So I could stay at that range and just plink away, plink away, plink away. It's got some good bite. But then I'm not using the battle value of my other weapons. When I close to that medium range, well, now I got to start watching the heat. And this was the idea. This mech was deliberately designed to punish you on the heat, to teach in the narrative mech warriors how to manage heat. How about you manage heat on your own mech and you learn heat? I'm just saying that. But as your mech commander, Fritz is your mech commander, I mean, I understand heat and I can manage it, but I tend to run hot and I can't resist taking the shot. And I tend to run most of my machines very, very hot. So here what I have to say, don't necessarily follow my player personality on that. But this trainer mech was designed to run hot. When I drop to that medium band now and I'm firing those medium lasers, that's going to build heat that I can't clear. If I fire that large laser, I mean, that's got some bite. Large laser, 2 mediums, while I'm moving on the move, that's a solid performer. I can't even remotely do that. So now I drop down to the medium lasers. I get close to short range. Well, now I'm going to blitz the heck out of you. I'm going to fire those medium lasers. I'm going to fire those small lasers. I'm going to fire those machine guns. If you have any type of crit in there, then I'm going to hit it and I'm going to cause some damage. But that heat is going to go through the roof. So to effectively manage that, now it's like I fire in different alternations of it. I fire some stuff, I don't fire. I fire some stuff, I don't fire. well, then it's a subpar mech because I'm not taking advantage of everything. Plus, to pack in all these weapons, I mean, this is a medium. It's got jump jets. It's packing in essentially a heavy mech into a medium chassis. It does break some of the rules, the Battletech rules, because it's a trainer mech. It's got additional crit slots in the torso just to accommodate the insanity of these weapons. But as a performer, it wouldn't be my first choice to bring on the tabletop. Now, there are, of course, some variants that the houses have pushed into service because it's like, look, things are looking pretty grim. We don't have time for trainers. Refit these things and bring them up to solid standard battle mechs. Well, that's a different story. You know, then it's, yes, there are variant mechs, but it's the Chameleon, but really it's something completely different. If I'm going to use it as is, meaning I got it through a salvage, or we're playing a role-playing component, or just for the lulls, I'm trying to take something different, I see this as being part of a lance, hanging back. Battle value comes in at, I think, around a little over 1,000. So not cheap, but not expensive. I'm going to hang back. I'm going to plink away with that large laser and support. As soon as a crit opens up, I'm going to crit rush you. I'm going to try and blast you on that. I could also see it as an effective rear armor striker if I can get rear armor and deal with that and just fire all those weapons and push the heat. I also see this, ironically, very effective against infantry and vehicles, kind of like what the Vulcan is supposed to do, but only does some of the times. This can be extremely deadly against vehicles just with the small lasers and machine guns scoring motive hits. If I can weather the fire, get to side armor, get to rear armor, put on those motive hits, chew through it. If I can deal with infantry, with the Chameleon, with the machine guns, as opposed to peeling off a dedicated light mech or a non-trainer mech, I could see it working in that support role of a lance. But the design is just extremely, extremely flawed. And again, completely intentional because it's a trainer mech. But going back to that question, if we're going to train a trainer mech, how about training on the real mech? Now, as a mech commander or as a mech warrior that maybe you started on the Chameleon back in the day playing a little RPG, you trained on the Chameleon. Is it a mech that you play? Is it a mech that you see has value? Or are you like, you know what, Fritz, I hear what you're saying. If I run across one and I'm going to play it, I'm either up. It's like the Charger. You can play it stock for the lulls, but if I got a Charger and I'm serious about it, I'm going to upgrade it to the Autocannon 20 True Assault Mech variant because I can't waste that chassis and that fusion engine. If I've got a Chameleon, I'm going to upgrade it or sidebar it over to a proper battle mech and use it that way, as opposed to playing the base configuration.